Hello girlfriends and welcome to another episode of Tried and Tested. Today we'll be trying out some ordinary products with a slightly different twist. This is the Revlon Colorstay Exactify Liquid Liner. So the special thing about this is that it has a wheel tip, which is supposed to give you a very clean, precise line. So I've seen wheel tips before and every time I look at it, I always think it's going to make things more complicated, but then it's been around for like a while, so I guess it's got a market. And actually, you know what? I keep saying that I feel like we've tried something like this before, but then they say they cannot find, so maybe it's in my head and it's just like super deja vu. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I've tried this before. Anyway, let's give it a go. Oh, that is a very precise line, and that was pretty simple to do. Let's see if this translates to my eyes. Okay, so they say that you're supposed to do this in one stroke. I don't know whether I can, but I'll try. Okay, ready? What happened? Oh no, that's no good. Okay, they said that you can go back and correct it with shorter strokes, which is what I'm trying to do now. Okay, with shorter strokes, it's sort of like easier to get that clean line that this is supposed to offer. What is slightly difficult is getting it to kind of get a clean line over a sort of like curve. Okay, let me try on the other eye. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So when I did the first eye, it was a mess, and then on the second eye, it's a lot cleaner and it was easier. So I think the biggest difference is like for this, when I first drew it, my eyes were relaxed, and for this one, I raised my eyebrow, like stretched it out. And that gave it like a super clean line. And what I also realized is it's true, because with the wheel, it rolls right along. Let me see how it works like for the under eye. Can get pretty close to the lash line. I think you would just have to do like shorter strokes. So please ignore this bottom eye. Just ignore this eye. Let's just look at this one. This has like a film over it, so it's a more shiny type of liquid liner, and it's very black. It does make the drawing experience faster, like once you get used to it, because it just goes straight across. Look at how clean this wing is. Look at how sharp the end is. Wow, very impressed. I would give this a very surprised 9 out of 10. Okay, so for the removal, it's actually pretty easy to remove. It almost just like balls off. Yeah, so it's really easy to remove. But then, right, I thought it was in my head at first, but there is a slight burning sensation when I put it on. So I think if you have sensitive eyes, that would be something to keep in mind. I don't know how to adjust according to that, because if it is burning, then I guess for me, it would not be a choice. If you have sensitive eyes, just be mindful of that. Alright, so there are many different types of lip products out there, right? We have liquid lipsticks, bullet lipsticks, tints, rouges, powders, creams. Wow, the list could go on and on and on. And it's very exciting to see new types of lipsticks come out. Now this is interesting because it is a lipstick, but the shape, as you can tell, is so different. So this is the Romantic Bird Matte Innovation Lipstick. Okay, so how it looks like is this. And the application is very interesting. So you're supposed to put your lips around it and pull it out. Maybe they were inspired by how the ancient Chinese used rouge paper. So this is like a similar application method. It smells like rose. It's a very strong rose scent. Okay, let's try this out. It's a bit of a mess. A bit of the lipstick just came off here. First, I would say that I'm really taken by the shape because I think it's so cute. But okay, when it comes to actual application, I don't think that this was really easy to use at all. Depending on how I pursed my lips around it or how hard I pressed, it would affect the amount of product that comes off, correct? But what I found was that it was very difficult to find a method of doing it that would give a nice application. For example, if I'm trying to get more on my top lip, then I have to really think very hard about how much harder am I pushing on the top lip as opposed to the bottom lip. And if I push on them both evenly, because they're different shapes, it affects where the lipstick goes. We saw just now, like it just came out the sides, and then this part was empty, that part had nothing, you know? And also it's same on both sides, so there's no one way of like pursing my lips around it that would help give an application that's suited to the shape of my lip. when it was like, okay, maybe it's like an ombre thing. We just try and like lightly tap and then move it around. The product is quite matte and it's very difficult to kind of move it with my lips or with my fingers. It's not like it's a stain that's easy to move, you know what I mean? So that was also difficult. And then after that, if I start using it as a regular lipstick to touch up on the sides, it also defeats the purpose of having this application method, right? And then the other thing is, it's a lot of area to come into contact with your mouth. I mean, you close your mouth around it, right? So it's slightly different from just putting it like that. Like, I feel like the moisture would be a bit more. But that's just me. The color is alright. I don't think it looks like the color that it is here. Payoff is like, okay, it's alright. It's a novel idea. I just don't think it's very practical. I think I would give this a 2.5 because, I mean, you still can get some use out of it. It does not match the pictures that they show, so you would have to adjust your expectations all the way down, but it's not completely useless. This is a liquid eyebrow pen with 4 tips, and it's supposed to help you create the effect of microblading. Ooh! Oh, this is so good. Because it's like, it looks pretty thick, but then they've sharpened the tips of each of these tips. Oh, it looks very fair, right? But then you have these 4 things and they're all sharpened on the top, which is great. It helps you get a really, really fine line. Like depending on how lightly or how hard you press. Alrighty, let's try this out. For this, you wanna like follow the direction of hair growth. I have actually been looking for the perfect one in terms of like color and how it stays over the day and application. And right now, I am loving this one. The color actually looks super natural, but what I really love about this 4-tip thing is it helps you create these really natural lines, which a regular liquid eyebrow pen is difficult, especially if you're not an artist, you know what I mean? This helps you cover more ground in a much neater fashion. Okay, so I don't know whether this matters to you guys, but the thing is, I tried to look up the brand Swake and I can't find anything about it. Like we did some research, we couldn't find a website, we don't know where it's from and all of that. So this brings us back to an older episode where I think maybe you need to use your own discretion to see if there's something that you want to try. I think just looking at it, I really like this. I think I would give this a 9 or a 10 even out of 10. But, and it's a big but, I don't know where this brand is from and I feel like knowing would give me peace of mind. This is a 3-in-1 cleansing tea bag from Laneige. So this looks like a real tea bag and inside there are actual tea leaves. What they've also added is a powder, like a face wash. So this one is supposed to be used like an actual tea bag. In a way, you dip this into hot water or cold water and then after that you rub it in between your hands. You get the foam, you use the foam to wash your face. And if you want to do exfoliation, you can use the tea bag itself to do some light exfoliation. Alright, so they say that you can use this as a mask, but it's kind of like tiny, so I think it's more of a targeted mask. So maybe on a specific dry patch, or you get a few of this and then put it all over your face. When you use it, you're supposed to remove this string and then we dip it in here. Now you're supposed to rub the bag and foam it up. Oh, okay, it lathers up pretty nicely. Okay, it's not the foam, but actually feels quite creamy once you put it on. It feels very gentle. Okay, I think it does a really nice job of cleansing. I mean, if I'm gonna be a bit picky, I do find it a little bit fussy to have to like foam it up, and it's also not the easiest to foam. Right after I washed it, it felt quite moisturized. But after about like 5 minutes, I'm starting to feel like it's actually feeling a little bit dry. But it's not tight. But it does feel like a pretty deep cleanse. So it can also be used as a physical exfoliator in terms I can like use this directly to rub it on my face. Also, it's got an enzyme inside that helps to gently like exfoliate your skin. Okay, you know how there are some cotton pads that have an exfoliating side? It feels a little bit like that. Maybe almost thinner. I will say that on the second time around when I was washing it, it felt a little bit bitey. Maybe it's not suited for my skin type. It doesn't feel super harsh, but it's not very, very gentle either. So what I do like about this is the smell. It smells nice, and I also quite like the texture of the foam that it creates. I actually wasn't expecting it to feel so nice, also because it felt like there was very little foam in my hand, but that little bit of foam went a long way, so that's quite nice. What I didn't quite like about it is that it's very fussy to use. And then also, if you want to use this as a physical exfoliator, it's hard to hold on to it. And then as a mask, based on like what I feel, like it doesn't feel like a moisturizing mask or anything. So I'm not sure what kind of mask this is for. Maybe a spot treatment? I mean, overall, I'm not a huge fan. I think I would give this a 4. I think it's a cute idea, but I feel like the benefits don't really outweigh the hassle of it. This is a gentle exfoliating mousse from Tiaoke, and it's interesting because when you think of exfoliants, you don't necessarily think of a mousse. So this is a gentle one that uses soapberry enzyme. Let's try this out. So inside it looks like, ooh, so cute. Yeah, feels like a regular mousse, like a bit like a marshmallow mousse. It's got a slight like artificial berry scent. So I've removed my makeup, now I'm going to try it on the left side of my face. Oh, that's so weird. So from a mousse, it very quickly almost like hardens into this and it starts like collecting together. I can't tell if it's like my skin or whether it's just like the product, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm gonna clean this off. It's actually a little bit sticky. When I first washed it off, I do recall like seeing just a little bit of redness on this area. It's kind of calmed down a bit now. And my skin right now is kind of feeling a little bit dry. So I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's an exfoliant, but I don't think that your face is supposed to feel so dry after like using stuff. So I don't know whether it's because it's not suitable for my skin or whether it's actually not that gentle, but I will say that the process did feel gentle. I feel like the process of using it wasn't the most comfortable. That's because it was just so sticky and my hands were getting all so sticky and it was actually a little bit difficult to wash off because it was just like all these little bits and it adhered to the skin quite a bit, so it wasn't, the user experience wasn't great. But overall, I guess it does exfoliate, but my skin is feeling a little bit tight. So maybe it could work on certain skin types. It is rather gentle, but overall in terms of, yeah, the way that it feels on my skin and the whole washing off and how my skin feels after, I would give this like a 4 out of 10. Yeah. There are many wristbands out there for people to put their phones on when they do sports, but this one is slightly different because it can rotate 360 degrees. So it comes with 2 straps. One is a smaller one for your wrist and this is the one for your arm. And then you can adjust how tight you want it to be. You would put this on your phone. I like that this is elastic because you know what, my phone is pretty big and sometimes there are like some phone clips that can't fit. So it's pretty easy to get this on. Then I would slide this into this. I can turn it wherever I want. It's pretty secure. Yeah, I guess maybe this is like for people when they're riding their bicycle and like you're not moving so much and then you have something here. Oh, that's pretty handy. Okay, so I have seen bands where you can put your phone in and I realized that they're usually quite flush against like your body. Whereas this one, because of the 360 function, is actually a bit away from your arm. So I feel like this almost makes it a little bit more unstable. Because there's a bit of a distance, the possibility of it getting caught on something or knocking into something else just feels that much higher, just a little bit higher. Do you know what I mean? Feels like it is secure, but just looking at the way that it's set up, I would get worried. Just because there's that whole 360 thing, it's attached by this thing here, like if something malfunctions, it feels like it could easily break off. My phone is important to me and like if it doesn't feel secure, I don't feel secure. It's terrible. Here also, I'm not sure what the 360 would be for lah. But I think it's more for when you're using it on your wrist. So I think I would give this a 5 out of 10. Oh my god, do you know who would be a great person to try this out? Tian! Tian would be great to like test it out. Tian! would you like to test this out for us?
Hey Shu, no problem. So I tried out the armband first, and if I'm being completely honest, it did take me a while for me to assemble the straps. I did try out this armband and I did a couple of jogs, a couple of jumping jacks, and I've got to say that it's very secure. Like my phone does not move at all. This contraction is great because I don't feel like it's gonna slip off. So yeah, overall, if you're using it for jogging and for working out at the gym, I think it's good. The only downside to it is that I don't really know when I would need to rotate my phone. So I question the functionality of this 360 because I don't think I would ever need to like look at my screen if I was running or working out, you know. So I feel that this rotation device is a bit superfluous for that reason. And another thing is that I have tried straps before with the actual sleeve, and your phone goes in the sleeves, and I think that those are a lot more secure, and I think you can probably get them for around the same price, even though these rubber bands are pretty secure. And I also tried it with the wristband, which I don't recommend that you use because my phone is already so heavy and it was uncomfortable to use, not secure. I don't recommend that you use for the armband purposes, but for the wrist it does the job. So if I were to give it a rating, I'll probably only give it a 1 or 2 stars. I know I hate giving negative ratings, I just don't like being negative, but it's not up to standards for me, and I think that you can get other devices, you know, with the actual sleeve, which are a lot more secure for you at about the same price. So yeah, and the design and the overall assembly was just not the most pleasant experience. So overall, I'd say I give it like 2 out of 5.
Okay, we've come to the end of the episode. If you want to find out more about the products, how much they cost, where to get them from, you can go to our Tried and Tested Facebook page, or you can just check out the links in the description box down below. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. Now all you need to do is hit that bell and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out onto YouTube. Or you can just download our Click Network app and you'll be able to watch the videos before they come out onto YouTube. Alright, till next time, mwah, go be beautiful!